You have probably heard this sentence before, maybe in school, in a book, or from a motivational video. The more you learn, the more you earn. It sounds simple, almost too simple. Part of you might think, this is just a cliché. If learning really changed everything, my life would already look different. You might know people who studied a lot and still struggle with money. You might know others who did not finish school and still built a solid income. So, is this idea a lie? Is it just something adults say to make you study harder? Not exactly. Today, we are going to explore what this sentence really means, beyond the slogan. We will talk about why learning is not just school knowledge, why some people study but never transform what they know into results, and how you can start using what you learn to actually increase your value in the world, not only your collection of information in your head. And if reflections like this help you feel more intentional about your growth and your future, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. That simple action supports this work, helps these ideas reach more people, and allows me to keep creating content that respects your intelligence instead of just yelling "work harder" in your ear. Let us begin by cleaning one misconception. Learning is not the same as schooling. School is one way to learn, but it is not the only way. Some of the most powerful lessons that change your income, your opportunities, and your impact do not come from a classroom. They come from paying attention to your mistakes, studying how others solved problems you currently have, learning skills that the market needs now, not skills that were only useful 20 years ago. So when we say, the more you learn, the more you earn, we are not talking about collecting diplomas. We are talking about increasing your ability to solve valuable problems. Money flows to solutions. When you can solve a problem that many people have, in a way that saves them time or energy or gives them peace of mind, you become more valuable in the marketplace. Learning is how you upgrade your ability to do that. To see this clearly, it helps to imagine 3 types of learning. First, learning information. This is the knowledge most people think about. Facts, concepts, theories. You read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts. You collect ideas in your mind. This can be inspiring, but by itself, it does not change your income. Second, learning skills. A skill is something you can do, not just something you can explain. Coding, writing clearly, selling, design, public speaking, negotiation, leadership. Skills are learnable. You do not need to be born with them. When you turn information into skills, you move from "I know this exists" to "I know how to do this." Third, learning value. This is the level most people ignore. Learning value means understanding what problems are worth solving in the real world, who needs those solutions, and how to connect what you can do with what other people are willing to pay for. You can be an excellent writer, but if you only write in your private notebook, your skill does not create income. You can be great with numbers, but if you never learn how to use that in a business or in services, the market does not know you exist. So you can think of it like this. Information is potential. Skill is power. Understanding value is direction. You need all 3 to turn learning into earning. Now, if this is true, why do so many people consume a lot of content and still feel stuck financially? One reason is passive learning. You scroll through advice. You watch videos. You feel a temporary hit of motivation or inspiration. but nothing in your behavior actually changes. It is like watching workout videos while lying on the couch. It can feel like progress. You understand the exercises. You could explain them to someone. But your body does not get stronger from watching. In the same way, your mind does not become more valuable just from consuming information. What changes your reality is deliberate practice. This means choosing a specific skill you want to build, breaking it into small parts, and practicing those parts again and again while learning from feedback. For example, if you want to become better at sales, deliberate practice is not just watching sales videos. It is writing actual messages, making actual calls, hearing actual no's, reviewing what you said, adjusting your approach. If you want to become a better designer, deliberate practice is creating real projects, even if they are small or unpaid at first, sending them for feedback, trying again. You earn more when you become the kind of person who can consistently deliver useful results. And that only comes from practice, not from inspiration alone. Another reason many people do not see learning turn into earning is that they are learning sideways, not forward. Sideways learning is when you keep collecting information that does not move you closer to what you actually want. You watch 10 videos about motivation, but none about the specific skill your dream job requires. You read 20 books about success, but zero about how to manage money, even though your finances are a mess. Forward learning is targeted. You ask, what do I want to be able to do that I cannot do yet? What skill is directly connected to the kind of income and life I want to build? Then you choose learning that moves you in that direction. So, if you want to increase what you earn, a powerful question is, what skill, if I improved it significantly in the next 12 months, would have the biggest impact on my income and opportunities? It might be communication, so people actually understand the value you bring. It might be digital skills, so you can create or manage online work instead of being limited to local options. It might be financial literacy, so when money comes in, you know how to manage, invest, and grow it instead of watching it disappear. Once you choose that one skill, your learning becomes focused. Now let us look at something that people rarely admit. Sometimes staying ignorant feels safer. If you do not learn how money works, you can blame bad luck or the system for everything. If you do not learn how to present your work, you can tell yourself that people just do not appreciate you instead of facing the discomfort of improving your communication. Learning more is powerful, but it also removes excuses. When you know better, you feel more responsible to do better. And that can be scary. So part of choosing to learn more so you can earn more is accepting that growth will stretch you. You will feel uncomfortable. You will feel beginner energy. You will fail at new things. But that discomfort is the doorway to a different financial reality. Now let us get practical. Imagine your earning potential as a building. Right now, you may be on the first or second floor. To reach the higher floors, you need stairs. Each step of those stairs is a skill, a habit, or a piece of knowledge that increases your value. You do not jump from the first floor to the 10th. You climb step by step. What might those steps look like in real life? Let us walk through a simple path you can adapt to your situation. Step 1. Learn how to learn. This sounds obvious, but most of us were never taught how to study effectively. We highlight, we rewatch, we kind of pay attention while also scrolling. Then we wonder why nothing sticks. Learning how to learn means practicing things like taking notes in your own words, not just copying. Teaching what you learn to someone else, even in a short message or voice note. Spacing your practice. Instead of studying something for 3 hours once, you study for 30 minutes 6 times, so your brain consolidates it better. When you become good at learning itself, every new skill comes faster. Step 2. Increase your value where you are. Many people say, "When I get a better job, then I will learn more." But the people who attract better jobs or clients usually do the opposite. They bring more value to the place they are already in. You can ask yourself, in my current job or situation, what problems annoy everyone that I could learn to solve? Maybe it is organizing information. Maybe it is creating simple tutorials. Maybe it is improving communication between teams. You do not always need permission to start solving problems. If you consistently show initiative, you become visible. Even if your current job does not reward that fully, you are building skills and evidence you can take elsewhere. Step 3. Build at least one marketable skill outside your job description. Your job title is one thing. Your skill set is another. Marketable skills are abilities that you can use in different contexts, for different people, not only in one company. For example, creating presentations that tell a clear story, writing emails that people actually read, editing videos, managing small projects, understanding basic data and turning it into decisions. These are skills that can become freelance work, a small side business, an advantage in future job interviews. Choose one or two to focus on. Step 4. Learn about money itself. This is one of the most ignored areas of learning. You can increase your income, but if you do not know how to manage it, it slips away. Financial learning includes things like understanding your expenses, knowing the difference between assets and liabilities, learning the basics of saving, investing, and avoiding bad debt. You do not need to become a finance expert. But if you want, the more you learn, the more you earn to be true in your life. You cannot stay a stranger to how money works. Step 5. Connect with people who think in terms of growth. Your environment has a huge impact on what you believe is possible. If you only spend time with people who complain about their situation but never learn anything new, you will slowly believe that this is just how life is. You do not need to abandon anyone, but you can add new voices. Follow people who teach skills, not just motivation. Join communities where people share what they are building, what they are learning, how they are improving. When you see others climbing, your own stairs feel less imaginary. Now, an important nuance. Your worth as a human is not measured by your income. There are people who earn very little and are deeply kind, wise, and valuable. There are people who earn a lot and are empty inside. When we say, the more you learn, the more you earn, we are not saying you become better than anyone because of money. We are saying that learning is a powerful way to create more options, freedom, and stability, so you can live with less constant anxiety about survival and more space to express who you are. Also, learning takes time. You might study for months, practice a new skill, and not see a big financial change immediately. This is where many people quit. They say, "It is not working." But learning is like planting seeds. At first, nothing seems to happen. Under the soil, roots are forming. If you stop watering just because you do not see a tree in 1 week, you kill something that was quietly growing. So when you commit to a path of learning, decide in advance that you will give it time. 6 months, a year, 2 years. That does not mean you wait passively. You keep improving, testing, adapting. But you also understand that deep skills and deep changes do not appear overnight. Before we close, let us do a small reflection together. Think of your current reality, your income, your opportunities, the way you feel about your future. Now ask, if I keep learning at the same level I'm learning today, where will I probably be in 5 years? Then ask, what would need to change in how I learn, what I learn, and how I practice, for my answer to be different? Maybe the change is small but powerful. Reading fewer random posts and more focused material from people who actually do what you want to do. Replacing 30 minutes of scrolling with 30 minutes of skill practice. Watching one video less per day and using that time to apply the last thing you learned. Over a year, those small shifts add up. The more you learn, the more you earn, not just in money, but in confidence, options, and the sense that you are not stuck in the exact same place forever. You cannot control everything about your life. You might come from a difficult background. You might live in a country or situation with fewer opportunities. These realities matter. They are not your fault. But within those limits, learning is one of the most powerful tools you have to expand what is possible. Information is everywhere. Courses, videos, books, mentors. The question is not only, do you have access? It is, are you willing to turn that access into practice, into skill, into value? The more you learn, the more you earn when you learn with intention, with action, and with the courage to let your knowledge change how you show up in the world. And step by step, as you invest in your mind, your abilities, and your understanding of value, you may look back one day and realize that your income, your work, and your sense of possibility grew, not by accident, but because you chose to keep learning when it would have been easier to stay the same. See you next time.